Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 6 of What If Naruto Was the Forces of Nature. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Got Special Training as a Child, so go ahead, check out that and enjoy. And if you're new, yes, I need 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying talking about to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we leap right into this new episode. Don't forget to turn on that bell notification to see exactly when I post. So yeah, let's begin the intro, guys. So the last time we left off, Naruto and Yujito from the cloud was face to face with one another as they found themselves in the same vicinity. As Naruto got up, this could all be some kind of lie, some distraction for her and her team to be watching him, while they were placed here under the might of Gato. As Naruto hated the village because of their link with what happened to the Uzumaki clan long time ago. For the majority of his younger life, he was alone, until he met his friend Sasuke. However, he could have had a family, except 3 nations believed that it was their problem to erase Uzu like it was not even important, and that angered him to no end. Yes, it really angered him a lot. So he was not fond of her one bit. The two of them got into a squabble, however. He warned her before they parted ways, if she interfered with his team, he would kill her. She told him that she would also protect her team if he and his team got involved with her, and she would not rest until he was dead. So with that, they parted ways, as they spent the majority of the time watching over the family. As Naruto was currently practicing, he was able to meld the main elements together to create sub-elements. As Saya watched him as he was currently making molten lava into a spear. To someone like him, it was a failure because he was unable to do what he, set out to do, but to anyone else, that would be quite the accomplishment. After all, having that kind of unique ability was nothing normal, so it was little short of amazing, but he was rather upset. Sasuke was trained on refining his taijutsu and not to mention his precise fire styles. He wanted to use less hand signs. Kakashi and Tetsuna came back. When they did, half of the forest was torn down. As the 3 had gotten into a sparring session, it was then that they saw Iniero running for his life. As Iniero was running away from the 3 of them, he had to speak about Gato is gonna kill them all, so they decided to torture the little boy by chasing him down and shooting jutsus after him. Not aimed to hit him, but just to make him know that they were strong. As the poor boy fell unconscious when a hand break from the ground and grabbed his leg, as he thought it was a zombie. Well, Kakashi was glad that they were getting along together. The time quickly came around as Naruto was left behind to watch over the family, as Iniero was about to risk his life to save his mother. However, Naruto simply jumped down there and took care of the bandits. Iniero was shocked, once again regaining hope in his heart as Naruto told him that he was gonna end this once and for all as he moved off, leaving the 2 of them there, the house protected, and not to mention there was a water serpent in the water as well that he created. So with that, they made their way towards the bridge. Sasuke was enough, as there was no other needed. Sasuke was enough to defeat Haku, as he didn't stand a chance against Sasuke. Haku might have been fast and efficient, however, Sasuke has been trained all of his life, intense, rigorous training, and he was able to bring Haku down to his knees, as Saya knocked Haku unconscious, as they tied him up against a railing. Zabuza was being outclashed as Kakashi was about to end his life. However, it was then that he arrived, Arashi, as he arrived at the bridge. As Naruto arrived soon after, the Kumo team arrived as Gato arrived with the rest of his men. He sent them out to attack. Arashi tried to face off against the Kumo team. However, Arashi was just known as the A rank because of the scroll that he stole. However, in terms of skills, he was a B rank. But the scroll that he stole, there was a lot of information about the third Raikage, the current Raikage's father techniques. So with that, he was able to learn some of them. However, the team of Darui, Yujito, and Kyo, and Samui was able to knock him down. They defeated him as Naruto and others took care of the bandits. For once, the Konoha teams were not at each other's throat because they were busy protecting their own team and their friends. However, Arashi realized that he was gonna die. He refused to give up. The third Raikage was the man to stay behind for 3 days while he allowed his teammates to flee to safety. So the man had created a suicidal technique. It was a way of protecting his comrades in his last moments, as Arashi had learned this, and he'd rather die here than go back and be tortured and executed by the people of Kumo. So with that, he generated lightning chakra into his heart. However, lightning rushed towards Naruto's brain, allowing him to think at super speed. As Naruto realized what was about to happen as he felt the surge, he had no time to stop it. However, he had pumped wind chakra into his hand. He looked towards his Konoha friends. Kakashi, his teacher, Saya, she had become a friend to him, and Sasuke, his brother. As he moved, Kakashi saw Naruto's body became translucent before everything went white. The lightning was directed down towards the water as it split the ocean. It just goes out to show the amount of chakra and the entire man life force that he used that would have obliterated the bridge and killed them. However, Naruto risked his life saving them. Sasuke was confused. Where did Naruto go? As his mind was not registering it, he didn't want to believe that it was real, that Naruto was dead. Sasuke leaped, however Kakashi caught him as he tried to hold him back as Sasuke was trying to jump into the water. However, Saya knocked him in the back of the head, knocking him out. As Zabuza took Haku and left, the Kumo team leaving as well, the Genins not understand what happened, but Darui saw what happened quite well. As Sasuke lost it, however, Saya knocked him out, but his eyes did change at losing Naruto. As Naruto's body reformed a distance away from Wind, as he was picked up by the thing that was watching him the entire time. So yeah guys, basically let's left off. You guys can switch across the play, check it out yourself, and let's jump in this new episode. The village hidden within a leaf, the mightiest amongst the elemental nation. Everyone knew Naruto because of what he contained. However, the few that was actually close to him, they were going through a lot. Yes, they were. A week ago, his mission towards Land of Wave ended in tragedy, which resulted in his death. When the Konoha team had returned, not even before that, Inieri had been depressed. As Naruto said that he would be coming back, and Inieri started to gain hope. Yes, Gato was dead, but the hope that he was gathering, it just went away. Once again, he lost someone that was trying to help him. As Inieri was silent throughout the whole thing, Tsunami was crying. The child had saved her life and protected Inieri, and for him just to die like that at such a young age, it showed how cruel this world was, and how at any moment anything precious can be taken away. And that made her just hug their son even more, as Tazuna was shocked that the kid was dead. He was one of the strongest kids that he knew. However, when the news came back to Konoha, Hiruzen was livid. He was angry. Kakashi should have sent in a report saying that the mission was a lie and that it was up to a A rank. The team had not really went on an A rank, and Hiruzen would have, who was he kidding? Team 7 had been one of the greatest Genin team, even surpassing most Chunins. That was a 4-man Chunin squad. So, maybe he wouldn't have been against sending them on this mission. However, things didn't pan out as he wanted. And not to mention Kakashi had blamed himself entirely. The man was suffering enough. He had lost so much in his life, losing his father to suicide, his sensei, his teammates, and now losing one of his students. Hiruzen saw the amount of depressed self-isolation that the man wanted to put himself under. However, he still had the other two. Saya was calm. Hiruzen did not know about her until a year ago, when Danzo had told him that he had a child. Danzo just wanted to plant the seeds right there and then, as he wanted her to get involved. Yes, that was his legitimate child, as Hiruzen didn't know about her until a year ago. However, right now she was as calm as her father had trained her to be, not showing much emotion even in this, even after losing a teammate. However, Hiruzen was worried about Sasuke Uchiha. He had lost everything at a young age. Everyone he loved and everyone he cared about. Since then, Hiruzen had him being watched when he was younger. However, when Naruto became his friend, things changed. For a more better, up-tuned feeling between the boy. He started to smile again, he started to be happy. The two became close, a bond of friendship that surpassed even friendship. They became brothers. The only thing not linking them was their blood, but they were brothers, and nothing could change that. So Hiruzen had Anvus watching him. He had Eugeo keep an eye on him just in case. Team 7 has not been on any missions, as there was no one that can fill the spot on that team yet, so they were on reserves. But Hiruzen did not feel like sending them out even after a while. He knew that many in this village wanted to see Sasuke participate in the upcoming Chunin exams but the boy. For the first 3 days, the boy had thrown himself into training, trying to just do something else. However, he then started to isolate himself. Hiruzen was glad that Ayam was taking the initiative to visit him, as Hiruzen paid him a visit as well, to make sure that he was okay, but the boy was just uncaring and unfeeling about most things. As for the Ichiraku family, Tsuki was deeply saddened, but it struck Ayam worse. Naruto was like her little brother, and she loved him, she cared about him. He was like family. And to hear that he died, she had collapsed when she had heard that, and they brought her to the hospital. It was just too much on her mind, he supposed. And here was he now feeling so depressed about the whole thing. He had managed to keep the information down to a minimum, not letting most people know after all. If this information were to spread, especially with what Naruto contained, the villagers might take it as a chance to be happy, because Hiruzen knew that most of them didn't like what he contained, and they wanted the fox to just leave the village. And that would not be good for the rest of Team 7 to find out. Not that Naruto contained the fox, he was sure that Sasuke already knew that, and he was sure that Sai already knew that. But if Sasuke found out that the villagers were at least happy at this, it might send him over the edge, and Hiruzen didn't want that. He breathed out a sigh. He hadn't even sent a message to Jiraiya yet to inform him of this. Jiraiya, he thought about his student, Kami, to think how he will feel about all of this. Hiruzen sighed as he leaned back. This was just so messed up. Meanwhile, with Danzo Shimura, it has been a week since his death. Danzo was angry, yes he was. Naruto was a potential candidate to become Hokage of this village. He had the determination, he had the strength, he had the attitude. Danzo had planned it perfectly. His daughter would become in charge of the Root Ninjas, protecting Konoha in the shadows while Naruto protected in the light. Sasuke would become one of the elite ninjas that would re-establish his clan and run the Anvu division, as he would become the commander of them. The three of them were perfect for their roles. However, the child died, which angered Danzo. Not to mention his daughter has been acting strange. He knew that despite everything, she cared for the boy as a teammate. He had not put his daughter under the same training as the other ninjas because he had trained her to rule, to lead, not to be a mindless weapon. Not to mention the team would have been great in the upcoming Chunin exams. No, there was no one to fill that spot. There was no genin in this entire village that had the same talent as Naruto. And that was just such a loss. After 3 days, they had realized there was no chance of him actually surviving, even though some still held out hope. He should get a proper funeral, despite there being no body to bury. And not to mention they lost a Kyubey. There was another fall in Konoha's stature. If their enemies found out about this, it would be immensely bad. Anko was also feeling pain as well, as Naruto had become her friend. And she had shut herself off a bit. Yes, she had other friends in the village, however, the child was just like her. He understands pain, because he's been subjugated to it for his life. She, on the other hand, she was blamed because of what Orochimaru did, because of her mark. And she found a bit of kinship in him, like a little brother who was extremely smart. However, now he was gone. Those who were close to him were being affected rather greatly. At the moment, Ayam was making her way, as she had some ramen in a bowl, wrapped in a bag, as she made her way towards the Uchiha compound. Her face was blank, not really giving off any emotion. She arrived, as she knocked on the door. It didn't take too long as the door opened up, just partially. As she saw his face, there was bags under his eyes. "Look at you," she said. "Let me guess. You didn't sleep last night either," she said. Her tone was one of worry, and one of a bit anger as well. Naruto and Sasuke were like brothers. They both lived together a while. They both can do many things. Cooking was not one of their forte, so she had come by every now and then and cooked for the both of them. She and Sasuke had gotten along rather well. After all, when you get past some of his attributes, he was a rather kind gentleman. Well, at least that is the way she saw it. However, Sasuke has not been taking care of himself. Yes, Ayam felt horrible that she would never see Naruto again. However, he was a link to Naruto that she had, and she knew that Naruto would not be happy if Sasuke were to just give up like this. However, the bags under his eyes and that empty look in his eyes, it made her remember what he tried to do. When he had come to his senses, he had made her promise not to tell anyone what he tried to do. He had begged her, knowing that if she did that, well, they would think that he was going crazy and lock him up in some kind of ward. But that day when she arrived to check up on him, and what she saw that he was doing, it still chilled her to the bones. Flashback. Ayam was here at the Uchiha compound. It has been a few days since Naruto had died, as the Hokage told him to keep the information to himself until he can sort everything out, so most did not know about his death. Ayam spent 2 days. The first one at the hospital when she had fainted, the second one at home, as she hadn't even come by the restaurant, and took it over. She knew that her father was saddened as well, to know that he would never see Naruto again, but it struck her deeply, and she just couldn't work. However, she had to go and check on Sasuke, knowing how much he probably was hurting. But when she knocked, there was no sound, nothing coming, but she knew that he was here. The envoy that was watching Sasuke in jail had recently checked through the windows, and she had saw Sasuke just sitting down, not really doing anything. So she went back to her post when she saw this woman coming in. However, Sasuke sat on the couch. He heard the knocking, but he just did not care. Sasuke was tired. At first, he threw himself into training, trying to come to terms with the fact that Naruto was gone. However, it made him think of Itachi. He knew that once he killed Itachi, he would be the last Uchiha. But at least he had Naruto here. Naruto was his family. It didn't matter if they were not connected by blood, he was his family's brother, and nothing would ever change that. However, now that Naruto was gone, and he thought about Itachi, he wondered what was even the purpose anymore. Yes, he would kill Itachi and then he would be truly alone. Sasuke didn't want to feel like this. When he first learned about his family demise, when he woke up in the hospital, these thoughts kept on creeping in. However, he allowed his rage to feed him. The rage to kill Itachi. But now there was no more rage, all that was left was depression. That is why, as Sasuke was holding on to something in his hand, it was one of the kitchen knives. As he looked at his hand, a single thought ran through his mind, as he did not move or do anything. The thing was, he didn't see the point of living anymore, as he was driving himself into a depressed state that he couldn't crawl back out of, there was no anger to focus on Itachi. There was no reason because he would just be alone once it was over. And he just didn't want to be alone again. However, as he brought the knife down, he heard a gasp. Ayame of course had a key, and she came by many times and brought them breakfast in the morning. So little to say that she was shocked when she saw. She rushed over and gripped the knife away from him, cutting herself in the process. However, she had to as she threw it to the side. Sasuke looked at her, his face just blank in emotion. "Sasuke, what the hell are you doing?" she said. As he looked at her, she gripped his shoulder and shook him. "Listen to me, this is not the way," she said. "You know that Naruto wouldn't have wanted this. Don't do this. He would have wanted us to continue moving on and live our life. Throwing your life away like this it's not the thing to do. You can't do this," she said. She just lost Naruto. "I can't lose you too," she said to him. "You have to live. Live in his name, a way of honor in his life. Show that you can move forward. After all, he's always doing his best to make sure that we're happy. So it would be an insult to just give your life away like that. Please, you can't." Sasuke saw the tears in her eyes. He was close to this woman. She was like a sister to him. She cooked for him. She even sometimes did his laundry. At first he was shocked by the kindness. The bond that Naruto and her had, he thought he would never have got it, however. As the time went on, the more he started to realize that she kind of treated him the same way, like a little brother. And, well, it was just not having people for so long, and having all these people close to you now. It was a bit overwhelming. However, he liked it. But seeing her with tears in her eyes like this, knowing that Naruto would not be happy, Sasuke reached forward and pulled her into a hug. "It's alright," he said. "I'm sorry. I won't do it," he said to her. "I promise. I'll do as you say. I'll keep his memory alive. I won't end my life." As she held on to him and cried, she didn't want him to die. "But Ayame, you have to promise me something. You can't tell anyone about this. It was a lapse in judgment. If anyone ever finds out, they will try to lock me in a psychiatric ward." Yujiro looked through the window at that, as she saw Sasuke hugging the woman. Luckily the knife had rolled under the table, so she did not see it, as she was checking on him every few minutes, to make sure that he was doing okay. "Come on," he said. "Let's go take care of that." As she looked towards her cut arm, she had not even felt it. In the flashback, she had kept her word and not tell anyone about it, because she didn't want Sasuke in any trouble. Anko had came by a few times to check on him. Kakashi had came by a few times as well, but the man was as blank as ever. He just asked Sasuke if he was okay, making sure that he was still with them. However, the man was suffering as well. Kakashi spent hours upon hours at the Memorial Stone, as he had nowhere else to go with his team on standby. Naruto died as a hero, risking his life to save them all, and nothing would ever change that. Meanwhile, at Kumo, the Raikage, a rather buff man, blonde hair and small eyes, sat behind his desk. He was surprised to hear that Konoha Shinobis were getting so elite, especially the Genins. Ever since the incident with the Hyuga, Konoha Shinobis have blacklisted Kumo Shinobis. More than often, every time they came across one another, there was always a bit of a skirmish. He was surprised that Darui came out of that one without any battle between him and the Konoha Shinobis. However, Kumo economy was dropping rather fast. Most of the missions that were being sent towards Konoha, most of the contracts. And even the daimyos were distributing missions not to them, but to the other nations, mostly Konoha, because of their high successful rate missions. And Kumo needed a boost, otherwise Konoha was going to eclipse all the other nations. It was already happening to the Sand, and Kumo more or less. Soon enough it would happen to the Stone, even despite their long distance between them. When he heard about the mission report, Let's say he was shocked to know that there was a genin of that skill level from what Darui had said, and not to mention that Uchiha was growing nicely. However, it turns out that the kid had died saving his team, and also saving the Kumo team as well. He was just glad that the Kumo team came out of this alive after all. Yujito was a rather important person to him. She was not just a normal Kunoichi, she was a container of the Nibe, one of his bijous in the village, and he couldn't allow anything to happen to her. However, one of Konoha top genins were knocked out of the race. That was a good thing for Kumo. The child was dead. Yes, he made a sacrifice. While the Raikage thought of that as honorable, he had to look towards his village safety and his village protection. Who knows how much powerful that child would have been if he had grown up. However, the Uchiha was still a problem though. The Raikage eye turned towards the window when he saw a shadow blast over his village. However, it moved so fast that, well, he didn't really pay much attention to it. But he wondered what the hell was that, was the bird. As he opened his window and looked out, they were high up in the mountain, so it was rather odd for a bird to be this high up, as you didn't see much birds up here. However, he paid it no mind because it was already long gone, and he couldn't even see what it was. Whatever it was fast though. But it must be some kind of animal. The only shinobi that he knew that could fly in this day and age was the third Tishikage, and he doubt the man was in the means of starting anything. Whatever it was fast, incredibly so. And not to mention in mid-air, as it flew through the air at incredible speeds. Time skip. She spent an hour with Sasuke, making sure that he had eat something. As he'd eat the ramen. He wasn't one for much talking, however. He talked to her. As they tried to cope with all of this. They just needed time, the wound was still too fresh for them. Meanwhile, Saya stood on top of the Hokage's monument. A friend actually. Yes, it was her mission to watch over him. To watch his progress and help him along. Her father gave her that mission and she would not fail. However, she was unable to save him from death. And that saddened her greatly, as he would be no doubt a great boost to Konoha economy. Once the people realized what he can truly do, the Chunin exams would be a way to cement that strength that he possessed. Meanwhile, the thing that was flying, it had reached the vicinity of the woods within mere minutes, judging how the distance between the two villages were long. This thing was incredibly fast. It just goes to show what kind of speed it possessed. As it flashed through the land of fire at the coast, the two Anbu teams that they were supposed to be blocking the area and watching over any attack from the village, the center of the group, with a bat mask on his face, spoke up. He rushed forward. "Senpai," he said, calling out to his superior. "Bat, what is it?" "Something's coming. It's fast and strong." As they turned their head towards the ground. "No, not on the ground. Above us." Before they could do anything, whatever it was, the amount of air pressure that it was flying with blew them back. As the two teams were blown to different parts of the forest, immediately though they got to their feet. What the hell? As Wolf, the captain, took off, chasing after what this thing was. Up in the air, the mythical beast that was only known in stories and children fairy tales, that was never seen by humans in the elemental nation. There was only rumors, and there was also storybooks from the past. No one in this day and age have ever seen one of them. Dragons. As this dragon's scale was completely red, golden eyes, teeth that were so sharp and large that they could rip apart any human, wings that were so wide and massive, with protruding spikes on them and running down its back, running down toward his tail. You can let me down here. Wouldn't want anyone to know what I'm capable of just yet. After all, there's only a select few that I'm going to tell about this. Are you sure, Naruto-sama? Yeah. The person who was standing on the back of the dragon had on a hood. But it was definitely him, from the dead. Well, he didn't really die, but you could not see his face. as he has been through a few changes since his so-called death. Remember now, said Naruto under the veil. You have to keep yourself hidden away from the rest of the populace. I'm only going to show you to a few select people. Understood? Yeah, understood. Something said under his hood. Be safe, Naruto-sama. The large red dragon said in mid-air. And with that the dragon poofed away, despite them being in mid-air. However, a terrible amount of wind seemed to expel from the Anvus around the perimeter. However, it didn't need to last for too long because the person landed right in front of the village gates. Immediately though, he was surrounded from all sides. Weapons drawn. Identify yourself immediately, or we will be forced to take action. The secondary captain at the second patrol said to him, Well, easy, calm down. I'm not here to cause problems. As he reached up and pulled down his hood, they narrowed their gaze in surprise. The gate guards, who were out of their boots, also stood there. When they saw his face, the Anvus of course knew of him. However, there was markings on his face. Moments later, Hokage-sama, the Anvu, arrived. As the Hokage looked up, Wolf, is something happening at the border? He said. No, sir. It's Naruto Uzumaki. As Hiruzen raised his eyebrow, What did you just say? He's here. As Hiruzen looked at him, Where is he? There was a knock at the door. Enter. Hiruzen watches the door open up, and Naruto stepped inside. Hiruzen was surprised. There he was. A part of him did not believe that Naruto actually died. However, the evidence and the team being unable to find him, the special op team that he had sent out there to search for at least the body, just in case, it proved that he was actually gone. But now, to see him standing here right in front of them, a warm, happy smile spread on Hiruzen's face. Naruto, you're here, he said. It's gonna take a lot more than that to bring me down. Can you send your Anvus a call? A few specific people for me. I wanted to go and visit them, however, they insist I came here first. Hiruzen was still shocked. Yes, he said, as he knew exactly who Naruto wanted to call. He didn't have to bother himself walking all the way up here. As Saya was called as well, so it didn't take too long. Sasuke made his way rather calmly, not really looking around him, just making his way towards the tower, unsure why he was called Hokage's tower, as he wondered what was going on. Sasuke heard a voice. He arrived at the door. He swung the door open so fast as he stepped inside. Sasuke was visibly confused, as there Naruto was sat on the couch, talking so nonchalant. He heard a gasp behind him as tears filled Ion's eyes. As Naruto got to his feet, his body still cloaked. Oh, Sasuke, he said. Look, I know I've been gone for a week, and BAM! Sasuke fisted Naruto right in the face. As Naruto's head tilted to the side, he reached up and wiped his lip. Huh. I'm real, you know. Sasuke's hand was shaking. You're really here, he said to him, as he moved forward and hugged him. Tears were filled in Sasuke's eyes as Hiruzen looked toward the heart-warming scene. The Uchiha was really suffering at losing his most best friend in this world, someone that he could consider a brother, and Hiruzen knew that. So he was happy to see this heartwarming scene. Aya moved in as she hugged the both of them, and she was crying. As Saya came in the office, seeing the door open, Hokage-sama, you... As she saw Naruto standing there, he looked up as he gave her a smile. Naruto? She said with shock. Oh hey Saya, he said. You're alive. As someone came in the window, the person stood there as he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Oh hey sensei. As Kakashi looked on his student that was standing there in front of him, alive. As he wasn't sure what was going on, the three of them broke the hug. How are you? What the hell happened? Sasuke said, as he wiped away a few tears. Him being so vulnerable was not something he liked to show, however. He thought that Naruto was truly and actually dead, and to see him now, though, she was still in tears. As she hugged him once again, to see that he was here, it was so uplifting. It made her day, of course. It made her entire year after she heard that he died. But now, it wasn't a loud groan could be heard, as something poked its head out of Naruto's cloak that he was wearing. This might sound stupid because of what I am, but however, I'm getting hot. As the thing poked out and crawled, Hiruzen and the others were surprised, as they raised an eyebrow towards a strange creature that rested on Naruto's shoulder. The thing was no bigger than Akamaru. However, it had claws and nails. It was blue, with 4 spikes on his forehead that curved out like horns. It had a long tail with spikes on it. Its underbelly was white. Its blue scales glistened like diamond. Its eyes were a brilliant shade of gold though, with a black slit in them. As for Naruto, he had markings on his face. It came right at his cheek, strange tribal markings that went down into his neck and went straight down. They were not even seeing anything as Naruto undid the robe, the cloth that he was wearing, and took it off. Underneath, he was wearing a silk black shirt that wrapped around his frame completely. However, it was sleeveless, so you could see the markings on his arm. It was a tattoo of a red dragon. It had dark black eyes as it curled around his body. If he were to take off the black suit that he was wearing now, you would see it exactly. It also stretched as it went up towards his cheek. It simply lied down on his face, like it had been burned into his skin like a normal tattoo. However, his whisker marks were still there, as the tattoo had covered half of his body. There was also a sheath resting on his back. The sword that was inside the handle, that was the only thing that he could see. The handle was gold, with a strange purple ruby right in the bottom of it. Strange markings and words that were inscribed in the handle. What the hell is going on, Kakashi? How are you alive? What happened? And what is that? He said. Hey, my name is Kono, the dragon said, as Kakashi looked at the thing, who hopped on Hiruzen's decks. As Hiruzen looked at the small dragon, Naruto had already told Hiruzen that he wanted some privacy. So now that they were here, he walked up towards the door and locked it. Before he brought his hand together, the group felt the chakra that was coming from his hand before he clapped them together. What was that? Ayam said. So no one can rather eavesdrop on us. I trust you people in the room the most, and I bet you're curious to where I were. Although, judging from the reactions of some of the Anvus, it seems they don't know I was presumed dead, said Naruto. Hiruzen sighed. With the news of you dying on the mission, it was a lot for many of us to take in. However, we didn't come to a resolve to do anything yet. I know I should have done it the other day. However, with given how important you are to this village, and you know exactly about what you contain, he said. If this information were to get out, don't worry, I understand, he said. However, you all must be curious to where I were. Of course, we thought that you died, said Sasuke. Yeah, about that I didn't. I saw what that guy, Arashi, was gonna do. The amount of chakra that he had gathered, along with his life force, it was gonna nuke the entire bridge. Yeah, said Kakashi. We noticed that after all, once it was thrown into the water, it split it down to the middle. Yeah, so all of you would have been dead if I didn't do something. So I did something. And, well, I end up somewhere else. That is how I met my friend here, Kono. I was the one that took you from the water, you know that, right? Oh yeah, said Naruto as he sat down. Alright, where to begin? Flashback. Naruto groaned, as he was confused where the hell he was. Don't worry, we're almost there. As Naruto felt wind hitting him at a rather fast pace. As he looked up, his eyes went wide. He thought that this was some strange dream as he was frightened. Hey, stay still! As Naruto was able to tear himself out of the grasp of Kono. Kono's claws were embedded in his shirt. As he had torn through his shirt holding on to him, Kono didn't want to harm him by letting his nails stab into his flesh. So he decided to release him before he harmed himself, as he was too frightened. However, Naruto now found himself falling from a high distance. Oh shit, he says. He started to generate wind chakra. He had to do something fast. But before he could, he was grabbed once again. Look, calm down. I'm not your enemy. I'm your friend. What the hell are you? The name is Kono, he said. Kono was larger, as he was twice the size of Naruto. But that was small compared to any other dragon. After all, he was just a baby, a hatchling. Where are you taking me? Said Naruto. Somewhere safe, he said, as he flew straight up in the heavens. Naruto watched as he passed the clouds. He thought the thing was going to bring him out in space. However, there was a floating island. The place was surrounded by mist, but the dragon flew right through it. Naruto felt a strange sensation, not really understanding what the hell was going on. Kono then brought him down on land. Naruto was confused. Are we in mid-air? Yeah. Shh, it's a secret, he said. Kono then proceeded to shrunk himself down as he landed on Naruto's shoulder, as he became the size of Akamaru. What are you? Said Naruto. Isn't that obvious? I'm a dragon. Well, I guess I shouldn't be so surprised you don't know what I am. I mean, we've never really interacted with humans. Well, except for in the past, but that was far, far, far before your time, Naruto. Wait, you know my name? Yeah, I've been watching you for some time now. Oh, I see. You're that thing that was always flying away. Yeah, Dad said it wasn't time yet, so I did not interact with you. However, when I saw you got blown to that water, I figured I had to do something. I don't know if Dad is gonna be pissed, so just remain quiet until I speak to him, okay? Wait, what is... Naruto heard a roar as he stepped back in fear. However, he saw a massive purple dragon flying through the sky. Holy shit, he said. Hey, come on, said Kono, as Naruto walked on the ground. The air was surprisingly calm up here. The place felt amazing. Naruto didn't know what it was, but he felt so high, free, and so wonderful. It was just literally so amazing. Unknown to Naruto or even Kono, as Naruto was walking, the place behind him started to react to his body. There was a small mark that appeared on Naruto's chest, as it started to glow small. As Naruto did not notice, it was him being here. Its presence was affecting this place, and it was also affecting him and vice versa. After all, Naruto was not exactly normal, so his body was reacting to this place strangely. Exactly what the Elder Dragon predicted. Kurama, said Naruto, speaking to the fox, making a mental link. That was a risky move you pulled off back there. However, you managed to come out of it alive, so I guess no harm done, said Kurama, his tone as relaxed as usual. Did you know about this? I mean, about dragons? Yes, I do know about dragons. However, I thought that they have went extinct. It seems like they just removed themselves from the equation. What do you mean? Well, dragons were one of the first summons in this entire existence. Really? Out of the toads and the snakes and the slugs, they were the first and the strongest as well. Whoa, said Naruto, as he looked around. So you were here back then when they were here as well? Yes. I wonder though, if he's still here. Who? Well, let us see. As Naruto wasn't sure by those cryptic words, however, he noticed every single dragon turning towards him. He was, of course, afraid. The things were massive, big enough to swallow him 10 times over. However, the look in their eyes were not one of malice or hate. Instead, it was calmness. As Naruto was confused as their entire posture seemed to just relax. As Kono walked in front of him. This is going better than I thought, said Kono. Come on, he says. He flew off. Hey, wait, said Naruto as he ran after him. It didn't take too long as Kono brought him to a massive altar. There was a massive castle, but it didn't seem to have any ceiling. And now Naruto understood why. Holy Mother of God, he said. What he saw shocked him to no extent. There was a colossal beast. Could you even call this a dragon? Its size was of the size of the tail beasts. Its scales were gold, a bright gold that almost hurt his eyes. It had dark, pitch black eyes. Whatever this was, it radiated pure power. It had 6 spikes coming from its head like horn. Several spikes that were made of strange white. It seems like a white crystal, but it was just spikes running down its frames. One of its claws were big enough to squash Naruto. It was bigger than a 2-story house. That is the size of his claw. The thing was gigantic, as Naruto believed that it was the same size as Kurama. Kono! The thing voice boomed like a thunder. As Naruto swallowed thickly, wondering if the thing would try to eat him. However, he would not be going down that easy if it tried. Father, said Kono. You see, Kono, would you mind repeating to me what I told you when I told you to watch over Naruto Uzumaki? This thing knew him as well. Well, you told me that... Kono paused as he looked like he understands something. That the time will be right. When the time is right. Yes, there's no need to fret, my child. I told you that you will be playing a big part in this. And you bringing him here is a first step. Excuse me. How do you know me and who are you? Said Naruto. As the dragon merely laughed. However, his laughter sounded like a thunder crashing on top of a mountain top. First of all, I am Leviathan, he said, as he looked down towards Naruto. And you are Naruto Uzumaki. I bet that little fox is currently surprised. Little fox? Leviathan reached out as one of his claws tapped the ground. Naruto saw a rush of energy as it washed over his body. However, he didn't feel anything different. Leviathan. Naruto's eyes widened when he turned to see the Ninetales. As Naruto was confused. However, the body of the Ninetales was spectral. How did you... Leviathan laughed. It's almost amusing to see you cage away like this. If you weren't, we could have a glorious battle. You haven't learned your lesson from the last time, said Kurama. That was a long time ago, said Leviathan. The time before most of the humans were civilized. The time before I've grown this powerful. I was young back then as well. And my power has only grown since then, said Kurama. I am the mightiest for a reason. You better remember that. That I do. But still, it is good to see you, said Leviathan, as the two of them conversed like they were old friends. I see you have done well for yourself. When you vanished, I thought that you merely erased yourself from the presence. However, you hid away. Hiding is a loose term here. It was just that we did not find anyone worthy. Not even your creator, Your father had the mindset, however, he wasn't the one. The one that I seek is right here. The one that will forever change this entire world that we live in. As Leviathan looked down towards Naruto. Are you talking about me? Yes, child. You will be a great turning point in this entire world. You will be the one to do things that none others is even capable of coming close to. You, with your help along the way, will change this fair world and change the mindset of every single one on the correct path. However, remember this as I say it. There's an all-consuming darkness that is coming. And I'm afraid if you aren't ready by the time it's here, it will snuff everything out, including you. Everything will be erased. All of us turn into nothingness. The darkness is too powerful to face as you are right now. So far your training has come along rather well. However, you have yet to reach your full potential. There will be a lot of hardship along the way. Things that make you feel like you want to give up. However, you must stay true on your path and never lose your sense of mind. The world is a dark, dangerous place. However, if you are to fall, we all will, because the darkness can only be stopped by you. What is this darkness? Said Naruto. That, I am not entirely sure. However, by now you must have noticed that you are not entirely human. You are something that far exceeds every human. But don't let that get to your head. The ones at your side will be there to help you fight through this darkness, even in your trying moments. Remember, whatever you do, do not let it snuff out your light. Otherwise, it will take over everything. The dragon words were cryptic, and they were also frightening. Kurama narrowed his gaze. Yes, he knew the dragon, of course. Kurama has been around for a very, very long time. However, the dragons did not take anyone as summoners. They were the only clan that didn't have a single summoner, because no one had met their expectations. Humans thought that they were myths and fairy tales, but they were not. The thing was, Leviathan and the other dragons had been around even before Kurama. But back then Leviathan was young, and so was Kurama when he came into his own. However, Kurama was a beast of unstoppable chakra and power. However, that was a long time ago, and Leviathan and Kurama both have grown. They were much stronger than before. If these two were to fight, well, they would end up decimating nations, and that would be catastrophic for anyone around them. I see, said Leviathan. It has already begun. What do you mean, said Naruto. Would you mind removing your shirt? As Naruto did as he was told. To his shock, he saw a strange marking spreading around his body. What the hell is this? You came in contact with my land. The moment you do, the prophecy has started. Your ascension to become something much greater has begun. What does that even mean? You should know this, child. There's a possibility of you dying right here and now if you're unable to surpass the expectations that are placed in front of you. However, if you wish to turn your back on everything right now, if you believe that you're not rightfully fit for this task that is ahead of you, you can do so. But you just said that, yes, my words are the warning for the future. However, it all revolves around what you want to do. There's no point of pushing you if you have no hope in doing what is necessary. So I can die, said Naruto. Yes, if your words aren't true. Hey, Kurama, said Naruto as he turned toward the fox. What should I do? I'm afraid I can't be the one to pick for you. But Leviathan has never been a liar, and I can say that truthfully. So this thing, whatever it is, this ascension is gonna help me. Yes, said Leviathan, as Naruto watched the black mark spreading over his body. As the dragon said that some darkness was gonna come to try and consume him and the world, and he had to be the one to stop it. And if he didn't do something, well, they might all die. And the fox said that The dragon wasn't a liar. As Kono looked towards him. Fine. I accept, said Naruto. Good, said Leviathan as he stabbed his nail in the ground. The ground cracked as it rushed towards Naruto. He stood there as a strange green glow rushed from it and jumped onto his chest. The green made contact with the black markings. Naruto's eyes went wide as he screamed. He felt like his soul was being torn apart as he screamed and thrashed around. The view of the fox faded away as he returned back to the sealess consciousness fully. As Naruto flashed around as he gripped his skull, his scream caused the entire place to shake. Thunderous amount of tornadoes appear around the area. The sky started to turn red hot above where they were. The earth started to tremble, electricity started to clash. The sky started to part as a strange, empty abyss started to open up. Leviathan looked up. His power is a lot greater than I expected. Father, help, said Kono as he was being sucked towards the abyss. Leviathan reached. He gripped onto Kono and pulled him down as the thing was threatening to suck everything away. Leviathan opened his mouth and roared. Black flames exploded from his throat as it made contact with the black empty void. It was like a wormhole, threatening to swallow everything. Leviathan kept on pouring black fire until Naruto calmed down. As he collapsed face first, the empty abyss then vanished. Leviathan stood there. The child was a lot stronger than he thought. If this power ever fell in the wrong hands, this entire world could be ripped apart. Leviathan watched as Naruto's body float up in the air, a white calming aura around him, as he just stood there in mid-air floating. Now we wait, he said. For how long, father? I don't know, said Leviathan as he looked towards Kono. As a few days passed, as Naruto remained like that, completely fine but suspended in mid-air, until a white light went off and Naruto fell. He landed softly as possible on his feet. As he staggered a bit, Kono grew in size as he held Naruto, stopping him from falling back. What happened? Said Naruto. You're okay, child. Naruto looked toward his body as he saw the black markings and the symbol of the dragon on his arm. Did it work? Yes, tell me. What did you experience? It was strange. It felt like I exploded and I fused with the earth and I became one with it. And I had to find myself and put myself back together. I did, and then I woke up. It seems your stubbornness will not let you fall. From this day forth, you, Naruto Uzumaki, are the first dragon summoner in history. That mark on your shoulder deems it befit. You will be able to call upon our power and summon us to aid you in battle, and for what is to come. How long have I been out? For a few days. I'm fine, Kono, said Naruto as he fixed himself. As he shook his head. There is much more for you to receive before you go. You should sit down and rest your head. The first ascendant stage was not an easy one. There's more? Yes. There's a lot more challenges to come, but a lot more benefit to reap from the reward. But in order to stop the darkness, you must be ready. I will, said Naruto. I don't know what this darkness is, but if it's gonna threaten my family, my home, my friends, I'll stop it. Good, said Leviathan, with a smile on his face. However, it looked rather dark. Despite him not trying to look that way, his teeth were just so sharp. End of flashback. The group in the office were rather shocked. Yep, and that's what happened, said Kono, after Dad gave him the holy blades of the dragon, of course. Sasuke glanced towards the blade on Naruto's back. as he noticed that he seemed rather special. What is this darkness? Hiruzen asks. I'm afraid that I don't know. It seems like Leviathan-sama had a prophecy about me some time ago, and he waited for my birth. However, what this darkness is, he is not even aware of it himself. Ayam started to panic. Why must it all fall on your shoulders? She said. This is too dangerous. I know that you're a ninja and all, but this is sounding quite scary, she said. I know, said Naruto. But he did told me there will be several others to help me on my journey, who will be by my side, said Naruto as he looked around at the people in the room. And I trust you all. I don't know what the future has to bring, but I hope you all can be by my side. Sasuke punched him on the shoulder. Well, you don't have to worry about that. Whatever it is, we'll face together. Kakashi gave him an eye smile. As Saya simply shrugged. That meant that she was in. As Ayam smiled, I'll help however I can. As Hiruzen gave Naruto a nod as well. As they were in the office, a distance away, in the literal moon, well, it was a sealscape. There was a woman that was asleep. She had been asleep for a long time now, and she was still asleep. However, a single eye opened up inside of that seal and looked at her before it closed. Back on the Elemental Nation, on a tall, far cliff, near to the mountain sides of Kumo, something or someone was standing there. Whatever it was, it seems happy. Its entire body was covered in darkness. However, you could see a smile, a rather devilish, demonic smile. Meanwhile, in the realm of the dead, the eyes of the Shinigami was seeing everything. Something that he caused was something that he could not stop. However, if it wasn't for him, the Elemental Nation would not have a fighting chance. The world had to have a balance. The Shinigami screwed up by making Naruto what he was. Upon the day that he was called to seal a fox, he messed up badly, and there were side effects of that happening. A cosmic balance, if one might say. However, this was coming for a long while, but Naruto's presence caused it to speed up. The dragons were now getting involved because Leviathan must have sensed it as well. The darkness will threaten to swallow everything. And that woman, Kaguya Osusuke, would play a big role in this. But not just her. All of them will. The Shinigami didn't know how this was going to turn out, but he could not interfere. That was not what he was placed here to do. He physically could not. But he was glad that Leviathan warned them. They had to be prepared. He just hoped they can solve their internal conflicts before this happened. Otherwise, they will all die. The strange thing that stood on the mountaintop, it was not fully human. It had hands, it had legs, it had a head, but it was not fully human. Suddenly, something rose up beside it. Whatever it was, the creature was half plant. It had a phoenix fly trap. This thing was Zetsu. As it stood beside this beast of darkness, whatever it was. Ah, Zetsu, you're finally here. Yes, I am. You were right, he's alive. I told you so. Naruto Uzumaki will not die that easily. What should I do now, said Zetsu. Continue on with the Akatsuki. Keep on playing the spy and the advisor. When the time is right, I will make you know what to do. But for now, remain in your position. There are a lot more to do before the reckoning comes. Zetsu nodded as he simply sunk back in the ground. The thing chuckled. Finally, the pieces are falling in place. The thing then swallowed itself in darkness and it was gone. But guys, if you ain't subscribed right here for the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification as they posted. But for now, see you guys soon. Peace.